Morning, peeps. I'm back, and Merry New Year. Is that right? Happy New Year, peeps. Happy New Year. And I want to thank you all those people that have left really nice messages alongside my YouTube videos, because I really appreciate it. All the people wishing me Happy New Year and everything. And it makes me want to keep you entertained this year. So I'm going to be trying to find some good ways that I can keep you all entertained. So if you've got any ideas yourselves, then leave some comments. If you want me to review your apps or your sites or whatever and all that type of thing, or any features you'd like me to include, then just leave a message. I'll see it. I read all the comments and I'll include it, because I'm always looking for fun things to include on these shows. And that's what we're going to do, peeps, anyway. So I'm just back from a run. I'm struggling to keep a coherent thought in my head today because I've had too much to eat. I've been eating too many cakes and chocolates and Quality Street, Toblerones, blooming after eights, all that type of thing. Everyone's like gifted me, and now I'm like force feeding myself rather than what I should do is chuck it all in the bin or take it to the city mission, because really it's just making me fat and slow and sluggish. And I'm not going to get a PB at my park run Saturday because I'm stuffed full of Christmas food. So I don't know about you lot, but I just can't stop eating at Christmas. It's bad, isn't it? It's like that's what it is, isn't it now? It's like, oh, you've got to fill yourself up with food and drink and all that type of thing. And then you spend the next month trying to recover. So anyway, peeps, Red Arrow. First one for a few weeks, not a good one. Nearly back to 400k. I'm bouncing around. Everyone else is making rapid gains up the table, and I'm not, because I didn't have Isaac for the last few weeks, which didn't help. But this week I've gone and benched João Pedro. And I think it was a logical decision with my team personally, because Iwobi and Semenyo had better fixtures, arguably. I mean, Pedro blanked 4 times in a row. He looked absolute rubbish in his previous game. I thought he was in danger of being benched. He looked pretty tired in his previous game. Then he goes away at Villa and gets 2 assists. I mean, this is just peak FPL, isn't it? In fact, my bench player, once again, has got more points than everybody apart from Trent and Salah. And to be honest, I'm not really enjoying having 8 attacking players. I mean, in previous years, I always used to have somebody like Winks on my bench, a 4.5, and all my money would be piled into my first 11. Like I'd probably have a better goalkeeper, and I'd have pricier. I wouldn't have 4 cheap mids like I've got, Webby, Semenyo, Sarr and Pedro. Although you can argue, but the cheap mids are the ones getting the points. The problem is it's that prick Rodgers who's getting the points at the moment. Rodgers and Pedro for everybody else. When I bench him and others don't, and he gets points, it hurts. It hurts, peeps. And for the last 4 or 5 weeks, I've come on here every week with like 3 or 4 different transfer plans. And every time, the one that I've actually done has performed the worst out of all of them. It's like this week I was looking at benching Fernandez, wasn't I? I was just going to bench him and not make a transfer. And in that scenario, João Pedro would have played. So I'd have had like 78 points instead of 69. And in the other scenario, I was going to sell João Pedro and replace him with Watkins. And that would have worked out as well. Watkins got an assist and a goal and has got Leicester this week. So even that would have been fine. But the one I've done, of course, is the worst performing one, which was taking out Fernandez and bringing in Sarr from Palace, which meant I benched João Pedro. So it had a negative -7 in effect. So it's been like that for a few weeks. That's just peak FPL. This happens. You go through periods like this, and then it improves again. And looking at my team for this week, I'm not unhappy with any of them. Plan, Peach. What is it? Plan. Thank you. Dial up again, you see. Took so long, didn't it? So I've got a very good team this week. Look, I've got my Iwobi home to Ipswich, Semenyo home to Everton. I'm bringing in, I've got to take out Cunha, banned for 2 games. Well, it's only 1 game because one of them was in the cup. But his fixtures are absolutely shocking. So he has to go. The obvious replacement for me is Isaac. Anyone else is clearly suboptimal in my case, although Isaac's fixture isn't brilliant, but Tottenham's defence is all over the place. And he has good fixtures coming up, and he's not in the Champions League. A lot of you will say better late than never. Should have got him weeks ago, as if I don't know that. But you can't predict he's going to get points for like 5 games in a row when you make your original decision. So he's coming in. So this team looks good. No logical reason why I won't get a green arrow this week, but we shall see. Something will go wrong, peeps. It always does. So that's it. I can save that one, I think, and we'll call it 20. Now, if you're taking out Cunha yourself and you want to know who to buy, there's a number of options. I don't know who you should buy, but the best 3 fixtures is Real coming up, followed by mixed fixtures, but the next 3 are really good. With less fixture congestion, there's probably less chance he's going to be rotated out, so he's an option. Wood's an option because he keeps scoring, but his fixtures aren't actually brilliant. I mean, I know Wolves away, you know, he could get a goal, couldn't he? Then they've got Liverpool, could get a goal at Southampton. Then they're away at Bournemouth, which isn't easy. Brighton away at Fulham isn't easy. And then he's got 3 horrible ones. So I'm not particularly in love with Wood there, but, you know, he's an option. He will get goals here and there, won't he? Can't trust anyone United. Can't trust anyone at City. City's fixtures actually don't look that great now, do they? Got a lot of shitty fixtures coming up. I mean, they go all right this week, and the way it is. But it's going to be interesting to see what people with Haaland do this week. They captained him last week. Would they do it again at home to West Ham when Liverpool are home to a leaky United team? I don't know. I'd captain Salah, I think, if they own both. There's only so much pain you can take if you're a Haaland owner, surely. So, another option, this is a bit of a left field one for you peeps, is Gakpo. Because Slot obviously really likes him. He's doing really well. He obviously prefers him to the proper striker, Nunes. I mean, Nunes might get a start or 2. He didn't get much over Christmas, did he? And Gakpo, I think Gakpo is less rotation prone than Diaz and Jota. So he's an option, I think. Gakpo. Jesus is still an option. Would Jesus have got all those points if Havertz hadn't been sick? Just don't know, do we? You know, Havertz could have been the striker, couldn't he, today? Watkins, I mean, he's got a great fixture this week, but Champions League and he's got competition once the other fella comes back from his ban. Jackson, off form, in my opinion. Very streaky player, Jackson. I think he scored 8 in 8 for his French team before he was signed for Chelsea. He's very much a form player. He doesn't look in great form. Chelsea don't look in great form. We need Lavia back. We need Lavia back. We need Fernandes back in his box. And we need the old Chelsea back because it's not really looking that great at the moment. Fernandes is taking too much stuff that Palmer should be taking, in my opinion. Right, so that's about it for strikers, really. I'm going to show you a team now that is ridiculous, because this team here has made no transfers all season. All season, peeps, and it's 310th in the world, and that's before FPL updates, when he'll be getting Rodgers off the bench for Fernandes. So he'll probably be top 200 in the world. He hasn't made a single transfer all season. And his team, apart from Barco, he obviously knows what he's doing, this character. Anyone who's got Barco is somebody who watches content, because Barco was a pure content pick, wasn't he? I mean, the general population probably wouldn't have gone anywhere near him. But he's been in this team anyway all season, and this team is like in the top couple of hundred after the update. And as you're wild carding now, you'd pretty much go for this team. I mean, there'd be absolutely nothing wrong with it. Like I said, apart from Barco, you could quite happily wildcard to this team. And it would be 90% better than most teams out there, probably. It's ridiculous. And that's after 20 weeks. You know, he's got the right goalies. He's got Wood. Everybody. Even Solanke's in there. And see, he's still got to the top 200 owning Solanke all season. So, fantastic team. It's like he's psychic, isn't it? And it makes you wonder whether we over manage our teams. You know, a lot of us have had Rodgers, got rid of Rodgers, Mabuemo, you know, didn't, his good fixtures stopped, people got rid of him, but he's still getting points. Do we put too much emphasis on fixtures and short-term form? Or should we just pick 11 really good fantasy options and keep them as long as they're performing reasonably well? You know, obviously he's benefited from captaining Salah from game week 1, hasn't he? I mean, there will be teams that haven't made a transfer all season that have also got 11 great fantasy assets, but have Haaland as captain, perma captain, and they'll be doing a lot worse, of course. But it does make you wonder whether we do overmanage our teams a little bit. So that's that, peeps. So now we'll have a look at the dreading looking at the live FPL league, because I'll be right at the bottom. So this is the content creator thing I put together. Game week scores have been ridiculous, because 9 out of 10 of these teams own Trent, and they're also very big on Rodgers. Let's just look at Rodgers, for example, on this list, and we can see straight away who's got Rodgers. All the ones, coloured ones, have got Rodgers, which is most people. Well, it's not actually most people, but it's all the ones who got the best score this week. See that? None of these 5 at the bottom, none of us have got Rodgers. But the ones that got the best score this week, they all had Rodgers. So that's really the difference, I think. Rodgers. And it's a quick way of doing this. We can also look at João Pedro. Again, you see a lot of them, oh, not all of them, but quite a few of them have got Rodgers. I think I'm the only one in this whole group that benched Rodgers. See, Late Riser came bottom this week with 64. He did benefit from João Pedro, but his captain Haaland kept him at the bottom. If anyone had Rodgers, you'd have expected it to be him, because if you've got Haaland, you need cheap enablers. And Rodgers is kind of the ultimate, isn't he, in cheap enablers. So it's surprising to see a Haaland team that doesn't have Rodgers. And it's going to be very interesting to see if he doubles down on his Haaland captaincy this week. Well, as a Man United supporter, I was suspecting he's going to captain Salah. So this is basically the ranks for this week. Let's talk Andy and his mate Bakar, the two terrible twins, have come top with scores in the 90s, because they've had Rodgers and João Pedro and Eze. They both brought Eze in, who for his first week of having the Palace picks, he's done better with Eze than Sarr. It remains to be seen whether Sarr can turn the tables this week. But like I said in my last video, FPL Review was very big on Eze, so they've both brought Eze in. Then was Mark with 91. You can say he's kind of done the best, because he's done it with being different and picking his own thing, you know what I mean? He brought Jesus in. None of the others did. Got 12 points from him. He's got 6 from Gordon. And he's also got his Rodgers points. Timber got 1. He's banned for the next game week now, isn't he, Timber? And all these people have got Trent as well. He had a crazy week, actually, Mark. I mean, I'm complaining that I had Pedro on my bench. But he had Hall on his bench for 12 points. He had Evan Nielsen for 8. I think would he have been tempted to play Hall over Timber? I don't know if he was tempted or not. Did he play 4 at the back anyway? Yeah, he had 4 at the back. And he benched Hall. So, don't know if it was a tight decision for him. He benched Evan Nielsen against Fulham. Yeah, would I have done that, or would I have played Rodgers? I don't know. He made the right call there anyway, but there wasn't much in it, as it turned out, because Evan Nielsen got 3 points. Benched Bowen, did he? Who did Bowen play? Peeps? I can't remember now. But he basically got it right anyway by playing Rodgers. That was the main thing for him. But he missed out when he saw points. So he'd be kicking himself because he would have got over 100, wouldn't he? Over 100 there. So he's done really well. As on 80. Another good week for him. Rodgers again. That's all the difference is, isn't it? Me benching in João Pedro has kept me below all those people this week. You know, like I'm only 6 points behind Harry and Fabio this week. I don't know if they've got any. Well, they've got João Pedro, you see. So, it's, yeah, that's basically the difference, isn't it? So now what we'll do is I'm going to show you the table. There's a table for the... There was a table for the... Where is it, peeps? Where is it? Here. I must have deleted it at some stage. So we're going to have a look at the table for 2024 to see who's done best in the calendar year. So that's over now, isn't it, that one? So Arsenal were the winners, 2024, and with less fixtures as well. They only played 36 fixtures in 2024. And they're ahead of Liverpool, Man City, and then Chelsea. So in terms of the last year, Arsenal are the best performers, although people like to point out they haven't won anything because there's obviously no trophy for being the best in the year, but they are the actual best in the year, although trophies continue to elude them, don't they? Then Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle still up there. So, yeah, they had a bit of a farrow spell, didn't they? A bit of a lean spell, Newcastle, but they're kind of coming back. Bournemouth and Fulham, this kind of shows that, you know, it's not just a flash in the pan. This is a whole year now. They've been good, better than Tottenham and Man United. Forest kind of be climbing up this table, I guess. And the bottom's interesting because all these teams at the bottom have only played like half a season, haven't they? Last year's ones, Luton, Sheffield United and Burnley have performed worse last season than Ipswich and Leicester. I think Ipswich, of anyone, Ipswich have got the best chance of staying up out of any of the new teams. But it's going to be difficult because there's no real weak teams for them to overtake, are there? I mean, they're only 1 point off in the relegation zone, I think, at the moment this season. But, you know, the likes of Everton, Wolves, West Ham, Brentford, you can't see them. It's hard to see them being relegated, isn't it? So Ipswich are going to have to struggle to stay up because there's no really poor teams from last year that were in this league. They're all doing all right now, aren't they? Anyway, peeps, Reddit, let's have a quick look. See what's going on here. So Fantasy Premier League, let's have a look. Timber's picked up his 5th yellow on the last game where he could have got it, and he's got it. So probably not, the fixtures aren't great. People that have got 2 Arsenal, 3 Arsenal, probably a good time to jump off, isn't it? Probably not a bad time to jump off. What's this? Arsenal team had a bug. Apparently, what's his name, peeps? Not Gabriel. Midfielder. Tell me his name. Odegaard. Odegaard wasn't feeling the best. And maybe that explains why he didn't do particularly much. Here's another post. Look, Odegaard ain't that guy. And he probably isn't, is he, to be fair? You've got the likes of Rodgers. Blooming Rodgers, he's cost me badly this week. I mean, I got 69 points, but it's just everyone else is getting points, aren't they? It's difficult. Well, FPL Harry's made a post. FPL is basically being played with 8 players currently. So everyone's got Isaac, Palmer and Salah apparently, and then it's +8. But I think you can even add the likes of Rodgers and João Pedro to that list. It's being played with very few players, isn't it, really? There's quite a big template there. You could add Trent to a list too, probably now. Trent as well. And Gabriel. So I think it's less than 8, really. If you add Gabriel and Trent into the mix. It's just some people have got Robinson in defence, some have got Munoz. Some have got Semenyo and some have got different midfielders, Sa or Eze and all those ones. But it is quite narrow. Did you beat the Scout in game week 19? No, I did not. Some people did, as we saw. I didn't. But the Scout gets the luxury. It doesn't have to worry about long-term picks, does it? We've got Palm, Luis Diaz, Martinelli, Milenkovic and Watkins. I did say Watkins was a reasonable shout in the short term, but I'm not sure he is in the long term still. I've got 12 points if I'd done João Pedro to Watkins. This is what I'm saying. Every decision I do make has been wrong lately, so we'll see whether we now get 4 blanks from Isaac in a row. Speaking of that, look, we've got the most transferred in players in the last 10 game weeks this season and how they've fared. Well, until Isaac came along, obviously anyone who got Isaac in 16 has done well every week since, I think, haven't they? But before that, it wasn't, 2, 2, 2, 2, 0, 2. So it just showed, but they're all good fantasy options, these ones. So we've all done well since, probably, even Solanke. And he's had a few points here and there. But, so the people that bought Siren last week and only got 2 points, it doesn't mean he was a bad transfer, because all these players have turned out to be good transfers over time. Even Diallo maybe. We'll see how United go, but they've been pretty dire, United, haven't they, really? Right, so what else have we got here? Flecken starting apparently, and he did start, and he wasn't very good, was he? Oh, Flecken, maybe he's not quite right. People saying that Martinelli looks nailed for the next few months. He's played every single minute since Saka went off. 2 goals in his last 3. So he could be a good option as well. Udogie's out for, or Udogie, however you pronounce it, out for 6 to 10 weeks. So another Tottenham player out again. People still talking about Haaland starting to fire. Well, his fixtures are too iffy now, aren't they? I can't see a scenario where we're bringing Haaland back anytime soon, to be honest. Anytime soon. There's someone here suggesting that he will be once he scores a haul or 2. But I can't see it happening for quite some time, unless he gets a double game week or something. There's just no incentive to bring him back in. People talking about what to do with Cunha. I think his fixtures are just awful, basically. So it probably is the time to let go. Top 10 transfers in and out. People: Hall, Gordon, Anya, Mabuemo, Jesus, Real, Sells, Watkins. Net transfers out. It's Cunha. See, people are taking out Cunha, Bowen, who's injured, Rogers. Why are people? Oh, he's banned for one game. So this is what I was saying when we looked at that team for the hadn't made a transfer all season. I don't think you take Rogers out, really. I'm regretting doing it already. I took him out a few weeks ago. But, I mean, he's just returning, isn't he, all the time? And his price, you know. So Jackson, I can see that if you're getting Isaac or whatever. Saka, still people getting rid of him. Ahmad, Mazraoui, Maddison. Maddison just never plays, does he? I don't know what's wrong with the manager, but I mean, Tottenham aren't doing well. It's not like Tottenham are doing well without him. Pedro Porro, Fabianski. So this is what I'm talking about over managing, you know, like taking out Rodgers. I mean, I can see taking out Cunha because they do have like 6 or 7 bad fixtures in a row. And there is a chance, of course, that he moves. You know, we've got the January transfer window coming up, haven't we? Which could be interesting. So none of us know what's going to happen there. But you never know. There could be a couple of new fantasy assets for us. So what's this here? Fixture difficulty. Don't know what he's going on about. Someone's suggesting Neco Williams is a good pick. I think there's other good picks in the Forest defence, aren't there? Cunha banned, fined. Tell you get less for that. You get less for bloody attempted murder around here than what Cunha's got. £80,000 fine. Here you get a slap on the wrist. You get an ankle bracelet for a few months so you can sit indoors and play PlayStation. You can even still go to the park runs. You know, half the people on my local park run have all got ankle bracelets on. You know, either let out of jail for the day or they're out on home detention. But they get let out to do the park runs. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, Pips. It's actually a good thing because it's doing a lot of them good. You know, they're running every week. It's got to be good for the mind, hasn't it, doing the running? And it's good to see. And we've got a local organisation here called Speed Freaks that helps people getting over addictions and that, and gets them out running and stuff. So that's a really good thing that's going on in this part of the world. So lace up, get out the door and go running, peeps. Oh no, look, my battery's low. How much have I got left? This could be a disaster. Let's have a look. You'll be quite pleased to know I've only got 6 minutes left on my battery. So I'm gonna have to go, peeps. And that's it for this video. Like I said, if you found it not very entertaining, I want you to put in the comments how I can make it more entertaining on what features we can have on here, you know, because I want to make them entertaining. Most of them are, to be fair, I think. But this week it shall be another straightforward one. Then we've got a bit of a break, haven't we? We've got FA Cup and stuff coming up. So anyway, I'm off now because I really am worried about my battery. It's going down really quick. So I was going to do this outside. So I unplugged the battery, took it outside. Because it was so sunny, I couldn't actually see the screen, which wouldn't have been good. So anyway, peeps, like and subscribe. And good luck with whoever you choose to replace Cunha with. And I'll talk to you all later anyway. So cheers for now then, peeps. And Happy New Year to everybody.